Get ready to be inspired by the great things happening in rural education. The Rural Scoop will bring you new ideas and innovative solutions. We'll dive into education issues and we'll highlight what's working in your rural communities. You'll hear from a variety of educators, administrators, professionals, and others who will provide relevant and engaging content in each episode. And now, for a special episode recorded at the Arizona Rural Schools Association Conference, here's your host, Ty White.
All right, so first question to break the ice, convince you there's no trick questions in here. Would you introduce yourself and tell us why you're here at the conference?
Yes, my name is Rikkie Jensen, and this year I was nominated as the Teacher of Distinction, and I currently teach in Chino Valley, Arizona.
Very nice. Have you been to the conference before?
No, I have not. This is my first time.
Okay. Were you looking forward to anything, or is there anything you've seen that's really stood out?
Actually, I was really surprised yesterday. I attended the advocacy meeting along with some other superintendents, and I just felt at home with a lot of the issues that were being discussed in rural education. So it was very insightful.
Okay. Can you tell me about your experience growing up rurally?
Yes, I actually grew up all over Arizona. During my middle school and high school years, I grew up in Greenlee County, Arizona, in a small town named Duncan, Arizona. And at the time, I think it had under 200 students. And I remember at that time, too, it was very hard to kind of keep teachers and things like that staying in a small town teaching, but I absolutely loved it. And my own personal teaching experience as I graduated college, I actually taught in Northwest Vegas. So I have experience now teaching in both a rural and an urban setting, but my heart is definitely rural.
Okay. What does the expression the rural advantage mean to you?
When I think of rural advantage, when I compare my experience being a teacher in a large city, I feel like you can have more of an impact. You don't have as many students. You can also inspire those living in a smaller town that they can become greater things, that they can be somebody, and they can inspire other people as well. It doesn't matter if you're from a really small community, but we all have a purpose and we can all be in the spotlight and shine.
That's good. So that's really a nice way to look at it, is the opportunity of impact. Okay. One of my favorite parts about this conference is actually that they highlight the Teachers of the Year, the Teachers of Distinction, and one gets picked to be the Rural Teacher of the Year. But it makes me think about my history too, growing up rurally. Can you give me an example of a rural teacher you had that really impacted you or shaped you?
My very favorite teacher, well, I had many, I just obviously, because I'm a teacher, but one that really stuck out to me was my agricultural teacher, Mr. Downs. He was also our FFA advisor. And it didn't matter if you were going to go into a field of agriculture, he always had that motto, just do your best and try. Like, things are going to get hard, it might not work out, but never give up.
Okay. We all bring sort of a different network to this. You've been a teacher for how many years, Arizona?
I've actually taught in Arizona. This is my 12th year. I have 18 total years, but 12 here in Arizona.
So there's probably people that ought to be at this conference. If they're kind of sitting on the fence, they can't quite decide to commit. What would you share with them about this experience that might convince them to join us next year?
Yeah. Being a rural educator and coming to this conference and hearing everybody's take on the different issues that we're experiencing, we're not alone. It doesn't matter what part of the state you're in. We all are facing the same things. And being part of that process and being part of an action plan and not just stepping, to the side and be like, just complaining that things aren't getting done. Well, we have to be part of that solution. And, everybody's facing the same thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to The Rural Scoop. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, or even leave us a comment. And be sure to follow on Twitter at Dr. Sadorf. That's Dr_SADORF, so that you never miss a new release. You can also check out previous episodes of The Scoop wherever you get your podcasts. Production support for The Rural Scoop is provided by Chattanooga Podcast Studios. Find out more at ChattanoogaPodcastStudios.com. See you next time for more great discussions about rural education.